Hey guys, in today's video I'm going to show you how I made this delicious sushi from fresh crappie that I caught out on a fishing trip. And you're going to want to stay tuned for this one because this is delicious and something different to do with your crappie or whatever you're catching. Stay tuned. Just get outside and do something awesome. Alright guys, so I'm here in the RHINOjoe Outdoors kitchen and I'm going to make some crappie sushi. So I'm going to make two different styles today. One is going to be almost kind of like if you've ever had like a spider roll, more of like a fried crappie inside of a roll. And then the second is going to be like kind of like a spicy tuna. But we're just going to get right to it here and I'm going to show you what I have over here and we're going to get started. Alright guys, so we're going to talk about like what we have here. So first of all, you're going to see this bamboo sheet and the plastic wrap. That's to actually roll the sushi with. I went ahead and got on Amazon and bought some roasted seaweed. It's called nori, but I actually looked at two different places in town and couldn't find it, but then randomly I was out today picking up wasabi at a different Walmart and I actually saw it, so I'll flash up a picture of that there. Also got some panko breadcrumbs for the frying. I've got my spoon here to spoon the rice on. Now for the rice, you need a specific like Japanese style rice. It's got that sticky texture to it that like helps it stick together and make the sushi the way that it should be. I've got my soy sauce here. I've got a sriracha mayo. Also to finish it off, I've got some wasabi and then some ginger, and let me grab two more things from the fridge. All right, boom. And I've got an avocado and a cucumber. So let's get started preparing our ingredients. So as far as the rice goes, you're gonna need a saucepan. And then if you look at the back here of this one, it's actually got directions. So I'm just gonna follow those directions. It's got a 1.5 cups of rice to 2 cups of water. It says to bring water to a boil and then cover and simmer for 20 minutes. Let stand for 10 minutes more before you fluff it. So I'm just going to follow those directions, and those are always on there if you get like this kind of rice. Alright, so I got my rice going here. I'm going to move this stuff out of the way. I've got that stuff back there. Also, can't forget this, got my crappie here. Alright, so for the cucumber, I'm just going to go over and clean it off, and then I'm going to show you how I'm going to chop it up. Alright, so I've got this cleaned off really well, and so I'm just going to cut at an angle and cut that end off, and then I'm just going to cut these at an angle. And I am no like super chef, so Gordon Ramsay would probably be yelling at me about my cutting technique, but you know what, it gets the job done. He'd probably be like, look at you, put you in between two pieces of bread and you're an idiot sandwich. It's disgusting. That's a horrible accent. Alright, so we got those chopped up. And so what I want to do is get rid of the top and the bottom there. I'm putting these in like little stacks here. And that just makes them easier to handle. So then once I do that, probably not the best because the way I'm doing this, but I'm going to put them long ways. I cut them a little bit oblong, and then I'm just going to cut them into little strips. And what that does, it just makes it easier to put in the actual roll. So I'm going to do that to the rest of these and get back to you guys. Alright, so I got all that cut up here. I'm just going to put this in this bowl here. Set it to the side. So next is going to be the avocado. Now you'll see a lot of people that won't wash these off. But one thing about food safety is a lot of these textured skin stuff is actually what carries a lot of bacteria. And if you try to cut through it to cut to the inside without washing it, you can actually cause that bacteria to penetrate these avocados. So I always make sure to wash mine before I cut it up. So I'm gonna do that. Avocado wise, if you're looking for a good avocado, if you're trying to figure out whether it's ripe or not, you can actually take out the little pit there. And you kind of look for the color. If it's like super light green, it's gonna be not ripe enough, and a lot of people will squeeze them in the store, but they try to like discourage you from doing that just because it can cause them to bruise. But you just look at the color in there and you're looking for like a greenish color, but you don't want it to be too brown. So I'm just gonna take this and you cut down to the pit, and I usually just roll it. And then if you kind of give it a little twist, boom. So I'm gonna take half of this here, and what I do is I just peel off the skin with my fingers. There we go. All right, let me throw that away. I'm gonna cut this, and so for cutting it, I just cut at an angle here, and I'm just gonna cut little slices out. There we go. So there's my avocado. I usually immediately eat this, but if you are wanting to keep this for later, you would want to make sure that like you do maybe some lemon juice on this to keep it from browning while it's in your roll. Also, while I'm talking about that, for the rice, kind of the same thing. If you are wanting to get the rice to be able to put in a roll and put away, like I said, I'm going to eat this immediately, but you'd really want to put some rice vinegar in it, and I'll flash up a picture of what that looks like. But you mix that in when you fluff the rice, that way that it doesn't create a bacteria wonderful environment, because those starches are a wonderful place for bacteria to grow. So alright, for the first way that I'm going to make this crappie is going to be fried with the panko breadcrumbs. So for that, I'm going to have to make a little bit of a wash here, and I don't need a ton just because I only have a little bit. So just put a little bit of milk, crack my egg, and get that in there. Oh, a little bit of a mess. And then I'm going to mix that up. Alright, too easy. Alright, so now I don't usually like season this just because I feel like the sushi has enough of a flavor in it already. So I'm going to drain these crappie fillets off. Alright, so for this first recipe with the panko breaded strips, I'm actually going to cut this into strips. So see, you got like a strip about that size, and then I got another strip right there. Great thing is, this actually works out really well if you have some smaller fish to be able to cook them if you don't have these giant fillets. And that's about another good one. We'll cut this one up. So we got these cut into strips here. I'm gonna get rid of that knife. And then open up my panko, pour a little bit of my panko breadcrumbs in this bowl here. And just for me, I'm gonna add a little bit of salt, and then just a little bit of pepper. Not much, just a little something. So, mix that up there. So now I'm gonna take these crappie, and I'm gonna take the strip, and I'm gonna dip it down in here, put it in the panko. I usually try to keep one hand clean when I do this. So there we go. Kind of running out of room here. I need a place to sit these. So there we go. There's our first piece, and we're going to do the rest. So there we got all of our pieces ready to go. So I'm going to get the oil going. And if you're wondering about like a traditional fried recipe, I will link the just regular recipe for just crappie at the end of this video, and then I'll also link for my crappie taco video at the end of this video also. Alright, so for the other technique, I'm actually just I need to boil this crappie. So I'll put a little bit of water down in this saucepan. I'm just going to add these crappie fillets, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to boil them until they just get white and flaky, and then I'm going to take them out. You could steam them, but I don't have a steaming platform, so I'm just going to do it this way. I feel like I'm getting everything to where it needs to be. I'm going to take my panko breaded crappie fillets, and I'm going to take them to the other side, that way I don't get the mess everywhere before I set up to put these in the oil, while I've got my other crappie boiling. Alright, so we're set up here. I'm waiting on the oil to heat up. I've got my rice in the back. It's actually good to go, so it's just kind of sitting back there chilling while I wait for this oil to heat up. Alright, so my oil's really going here. So we're going to take these fillets and drop them in gently. So while that's going, my boiled over here is about ready to come out. So I'm actually going to use this to get this out of here, because it's going to fall apart as you take it out. I'm just going to make sure I get all those little pieces. Alright. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my fork here. I'm just going to chop that up. And if you've ever had like a spicy tuna roll, what they do is they take this and then they add some of this sriracha mayo to it. So that's what I'm going to do here. And I'm just going to do it by my eye here. So I'm not going to measure it. I just want to get that like a good, everything really coated there. So that looks really good right there. So that's for my second type of roll. So now that I did that, I've got my other over here, my panko ones, and those ones should be about cooked. See how they got that nice coloring to them? Just want to make sure that they're evenly cooked here. I want them to be extra crispy. Alright, we're about there. Probably ought to go ahead and get ready with a plate with some paper towels on it to pull those off. Trying to do this with cameras in the kitchen is quite a bit different because I'm in here dancing around this camera stand, and there we go. So we're going to turn everything off, make sure we don't burn down the house. And so there's my panko breaded ones, and we're going to get to putting these into some sushi rolls. Alright, so I probably should have been doing this earlier, but I'm going to go ahead and clean up. I don't need this anymore and that. Get ready to make our sushi roll here. So I've got this here, and you could just use this as is, but I'm going to put some plastic wrap on it. That way that it keeps it clean and sanitary, so I'll do that real fast. Alright, so I got my plastic wrap on there. I'll set that to the side. That's going to keep this clean. I've got my nori here, so I'm going to open this. Try to link everything below on where I got it from. So this is just like seaweed paper, and it seems like really gross. Alright, so I'm just getting one sheet here, and we are going to set it down on my sushi roller. Because soon we're going to be rolling like Fred Durst. That was a bad joke. Alright, so one key thing is this seaweed paper. See how it's shiny side and a dull side? You want the shiny side down, dull side up. And then what I'm going to do is take my rice here. It's cooled down enough to where I can touch it. And you just use a little bit of, this is a little bit of cool water. And that's going to keep it from sticking to your fingers. And if the rice starts sticking to your fingers, just dip them back in that water. And what you're going to want to do is you want to leave like a 1 inch there. And I am no sushi rolling master, but I think anybody can do this. I think you go to a sushi restaurant and you think that it looks so hard, but if you ever get a chance, go, and you really enjoy sushi and you want to try this, go to a sushi bar and just sit up there and watch them. It's actually really neat. They get so good at it, but yours might not be perfect the first time, but hey, you know what? Nobody is. So, alright. So I got my rice kind of spread out on there. Oh, down at the bottom there, still a little hot. So I got everything laid out there. So now I'm going to start putting on my ingredients. So the first thing I'm going to start with is this crappie right here. So I'm going to put that down in the center there. And I'm going to get another piece and put it, so you can see about 2 pieces, about perfect. You don't want to overload this, because if you do, it's just not going to roll up really well. And about 3 pieces of avocado there. And then I'm going to take my cucumber and just put a couple pieces down the center here. And if you see like how I cut it into strips, that's what's going to help it kind of fit into the roll here. So there we go. Eat a piece of cucumber while you're at it. So now we're gonna roll this sucker. So I'm dry off my hands like a redneck on my shirt here. I'm gonna take this front edge and I'm just gonna start rolling up. And as I roll up, I'm gonna tuck it. I'm gonna tuck it. And I'm wanting to bring the edge of this right over to where I have that 1 inch margin. And then I'm gonna pull and kind of tuck this and get it tight. You see I still got my 1 inch margin there. And so I'm wanting to pull this and trying to get that roll as tight as I can. Then once I do that, I'm just gonna finish the roll. All right, and there we go. So there's my first with the fried crappie in it. So I'm gonna get a plate and I'm gonna set that to the side. All right, so now we're gonna repeat that and we're gonna do the other type. So here I've got my same thing. And we're just gonna follow the same steps, okay? So I'm not gonna talk through this one, I'm just gonna do it. Well, I might talk a little bit, but you got my rice here. All right. So now we're going to use this one. So we got like our spicy crappie mixture here. So I'm going to take that and I'm just going to spread it out here in the middle. All right, now I got that spread out. Same thing. I love avocado. Let's put that there. Take our cucumber. Put that in there. I love the crunch that the cucumber gives it. And then we're just going to roll this like we did last one. There we go. So we got the second one. So we're going to take these over here to this plate. Alright, so now we're going to get to cutting it. I'm going to try to keep my knife wet. And you're just going to want to use the sawing motion of the knife to cut. You want to make sure that you have a sharp knife. You're not wanting to really push or you're going to squeeze all the stuff out of it. You're just wanting to use the sawing motion of that knife as you go down through here. And let that do the work. This one has a little bit of rip in it, but you can see, it doesn't have to be perfect, guys. So as you can see with this one here, guys, this is the first fried one. You got a little piece of cucumber, avocado, and my fried crappie in there. So that's the first one that we cut up, and we'll cut up the other one the exact same way. Alright guys, so we're going to finish plating this up here. I'm going to open my little tube of wasabi. I love some wasabi. I had a bunch of this before, but this is actually wonderful. I like to put it on a lot of different things, but if you like spicy stuff, you'll definitely like it. I squirted a little bit extra there, but I'm gonna squirt a little bit of this wasabi on here. I did dress the top of the fried roll with a little bit of the sriracha mayo, which I really like. And then finally, we've got some of our sushi ginger here, and I was able to pick that up just at Walmart, but I'm sure you can find it on Amazon. And finally, I've got a little bit of soy sauce here. I'm going to put in my little bowl. Alright, and there you have it, folks. You've got some crappie, two different ways to make crappie sushi, and it's delicious, I'll tell you what. So guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video, watching me make this crappie sushi. There's nothing like getting out on the water and being able to enjoy your day and catch a few fish, be able to bring some home and make something a little bit different and experiment around and see what you can do. But this is how I caught these fish for this video. Fishing wasn't amazing, It is the fall time and the fish are really on the move. So it seemed like the fish were really scattered, but I was able to bring home a few and be able to make a nice meal.
Just dropping it down to the bottom, letting it stop. Slowly start to reel it back up. There's a bite. That should be a better one. There we go. Alright. We'll see that one. That one should be like pretty daggone close. Finally, I got a keeper.
So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, guys, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you like my content. I'm going to continue making videos for you. I love doing this. I love getting outside and fishing and doing awesome stuff. And as always, guys, get outside, do something awesome. If you get a chance, take somebody with you, and I will see you guys in that next video.